Good morning, everybody. Glad to have you here today. Appreciate you joining me. Again, I ask you to like, share, comment on the post. And then if you'd like, you can join me in the book of Ephesians, chapter 5. We'll be beginning in verse 15 today, where Paul gives us these words. Look carefully then how you walk, not as unwise, but as wise, making the best use of time because the days are evil. Therefore, do not be foolish, but understand what the will of the Lord is. Uh, Straightforward, Paul. Paul doesn't pull a lot of punches. Don't live like the unwise. Live like the wise. Why? How do we make the most of the time that God has given us? We don't waste time. We use the opportunities that God has given us to make solid choices, to make wise choices, to do the right things. We do that, again, by looking carefully then how you walk. A lot of times, especially as we age, we get kind of comfortable. We walk around our house or maybe our place of employment and really don't look where we're stepping. We just, we've lived in that house long enough. We know kind of how to get around it, and then maybe grandkids come along. And you start getting some toys in the floor, and what happens? You kind of have to start looking and paying attention to where you step so you don't step on something or trip over something, or you go on vacation, you're staying in a different place, whatever, and you kind of have to again be careful of where you step. And that's the illustration that Paul is giving us here. He's telling us that we have to be careful where we step, how we walk, that we don't do anything, again, that would damage our testimony or reflect poorly on God, that we make wise choices. And we do that, verse 17 says, because that's the will of God for us. That's what God desires. God wants us to follow Him, to see to see things. You ever had anybody say something to you like, I'm trying to get you to see it from my side? That's what Paul is saying here. We need to see things from God's side. We need to see things the way that try to see things the way that God actually sees them. Why? He says, because the days are evil. We live in wicked times. Many of you may live in an area, and I won't call any by name, but maybe you live in an area where maybe the roads are a little rough. There's a pothole or two around town. And after you drive a while, there's a couple that I go across several times a week. And I'm sure maybe the car behind me thinks maybe I'm drunk, because I know that coming up, I know where that pothole is. I know where that bad bump in the road is, that manhole that's not covered correctly or is rough. And I may swerve over to dodge it even before I get there. And but I've learned where they are, and so I know to be careful of them. You may live in an area where the roads are, again, pretty rough, and those potholes seem to sneak up on you. When you live in an area like that, when you're driving down a road like that, what do? You slow down. You pay more attention, because you know that there just might be a pothole any second now. There just may be a hole in the road just any minute now. I don't want to run through it. And that's what Paul is saying to us about our life. We know we live in a world full of potholes. We know we live in a hard, rough, sinful world. Therefore, watch your step. Watch where you walk. Be careful in what you do. There's an old song that we sang as children. It says, little feet, be careful where you take me to. That's something for all of us to remember, and a good prayer even for us adults. Little feet, be careful where you take me to. Have a good one. We'll see you here tomorrow morning.